Hello, my creeplings. Today we're going to talk about, this isn't so much a horror film, but it's definitely one of those creepy movies. It's more in the sci-fi genre, but it's called Night of the Comet. Was released in 1984. It was one of the first films to get the PG-13 rating, so we're not going to have a high gore score here. But this is still a solid little film. This one shows up in a lot of those 80s cult films you need to watch, and this is a second watch for me, so I enjoyed it. We have a whole list of names on here, and really the only one that I know is Catherine Mary Stewart. She plays our protagonist, Regina. They call her Reggie. I really don't recognize any of the other names, but I do recognize one of the actresses. Sorry, my eye is watering. There's one of the actresses who plays a scientist later on. I've seen her in a zillion different things. And we're talking all weird niche stuff. If I remember, she was in Sleepaway Camp. And she was in Rock and Roll High School with the Ramones as Miss Trogar. I cannot remember the actress's name, and I can't remember the character's name, so I can't tell you who she is. But if you're someone who's watched a lot of these films like I have, you'll look at her and you go, I know who that is. And yeah, so we got a couple of repeat offenders for 80s character actors, I guess you'd say. Okay, so plot. Plot is very simple. We have a comet passing over the Earth 11 days before Christmas. They think this is the same comet that passed over the Earth when the dinosaurs died 65 million years ago. Everybody's freaking out and having parties and everything. Like, oh my god, this is it's Halley's Comet, but even rarer. Oh my god. This does take place in Southern California, and yes, you do have Val girls. So I may slip into the, oh my god, occasionally. I don't know if I can stop myself. I grew up in the 80s. We Val'd a lot. So, Reggie, is a projectionist she works at a movie theater. She's dating the projectionist. Pardon me. She's kind of goofing off at the beginning of the film, playing a video game. I cannot remember what it is. And she has all the top 10 spots except for number 6. And the only thing she knows about this person is his initials are DMK. She gets ticked and keeps trying to get him off the scoreboard. Well, her boss is like, go do a sweep, go do your job. Don't go to the projection booth. Don't flirt with your boyfriend. So what does she do? She goes to the projection booth to hang out with her boyfriend. You find out he is lending out the films to get them illegally copied and getting money under the table. And he convinces Reggie to spend the night so that when he gives his business partner the film right after everyone leaves, he'll be the first one there when the guy comes to bring it back. So they stay in the projection booth. Of course, they're stupid teenagers. They get it on. No, nothing is shown though. And she makes some comment about how she always feels like someone's going to see him. He's like, no one's going to see you up here. And I don't know why. She seems like a girl with a pretty good head on her shoulders. She says, well, Superman could see up here. And he's like, it's lined in. They go into the argument of steel versus lead because the long and the short of it, the projection booth is made out of steel as a fire hazard. Preventative. On a side note, I know why this is. Back in the early days of movies, they used a lot of very hot lights. Or I should say, they used very strong lights that gave off a lot of heat. And if those things exploded, and celluloid and old film is very, very flammable, whoosh. The projectionist, if they could escape, could shut the doors and contain the fire so that the whole theater wouldn't go up. So that's why the projection booth is made out of steel in real life. And now you know. Cut back to simultaneously, Reggie's sister Samantha, Sam. Sam is at home, getting ticked off at her stepmom, Doris. Doris is flirting with the neighbor because Sam's father is off away with in some Central American country. I cannot remember what it was. I know they mentioned it. with special forces. He is a military man, and he is gone. And of course, Doris is taking the best of it. Doris is played to be a real bitch. Evil stepmother trope. Whatever. So Sam and Doris get into a verbal fight, which turns into a physical altercation. I mean, Doris hauls off and punches her. So Sam spends the night in the shed, in the garden shed, which is a steel outbuilding. Both wake up the next day it's just quiet. Reggie's boyfriend is pissed that his person didn't show up with the film, so he goes to look for him. Reggie is accosted by... Now, every description that this film is going to give you is going to call them zombies. I don't put them under the heading of real zombies because they seem to have some kind of intelligence. They may have devolved into something cannibalistic and violent, but they know to use tools. They can talk. They can manipulate. I mean, they behave like human beings, just very aggressive human beings. So they're not really zombies, but I may slip and call them that. I don't know what the term for this would be. Maybe a ghoul. But I still think ghouls are someone's risen from the dead. These are people that are degenerating into dead, is the best way to describe it. But, so he's attacked by one of these people using a big old pipe wrench. Not much of a gore effect there. Well, Regina's busy trying to get DMK off the video game. She succeeds, but she's like, where the hell is my boyfriend? And, she goes out, notices that the sky is very red. She's like, God, the smog is bad today. This is LA. I mean, LA and smog. But smog there isn't usually red. But she's like, oh my God, the smog is terrible today. And she starts noticing piles of clothing and little piles of dust underneath the clothing everywhere. And she's kind of like, what the hell? Well, she gets locked out of the movie theater. And she gets accosted by, I'm going to call them the freaks, by one of the freaks. She manages to escape on Larry's, that's her boyfriend, by the way, Larry, on Larry's motorcycle, heads home. Sam is the younger sister, and Sam's pretty much kind of an idiot valley girl. I'm not going to say she's stupid, but oh my God, is she clueless sometimes. She thinks that the stepmom has run off with the neighbor. His name is Chuck. And Reggie gets home, and she's like, no, seriously, look around. Picks up Doris's dress in a pile of dust. This is Doris. Picks up a shoe and dumps the dust. This is Chuck. And they're like, are we the last people? And then it cuts to the radio that Sam's been carrying around all morning, and it's broadcasting. So they're like, no, we can't be the only people. So they head to the radio station. Turns out that the radio station is automated. Everything's pre-recorded, and it's just playing. But they do actually meet a survivor. His name is Hector. Hector survived by falling asleep in his truck. He has he's an 18-wheeler. So he was sleeping in the truck back, which is made of steel. So they're surmising that because they missed the radiation from the comet, that's why they've survived. Hector has no idea what happened to his family. So after holding up in the radio station for a couple of days, or not a couple of days, about a day, I should say, he's like, I'm going to go see what's going on with my family, and he goes off. Prior to that, Sam gets on the air and just starts gabbing away, gives the phone number for the hit line, like she's pretending to be a DJ, and someone calls. Turns out there's a think tank out in the desert that is looking for survivors. So they make the plan that when Hector's gone, Hector's going to leave and go check on his family, see if there are any survivors there, and then he's going to meet them back there. Of course, they're two teenage girls, 18 and I think 16. They're bored. So what do? They go to the mall. We get a nice cover of Girls Just Want to Have Fun and a shopping montage. Shows off some wonderful 80s fashions. But it turns out that they're not alone in the mall either. There's a group of guys They're called the Stock Boys in the credits. They are starting to turn, and there's a huge gunfight because apparently Dad taught these girls how to handle heavy firearms and how to defend themselves because he is special forces. So these two girls aren't exactly slouches. They do eventually get captured, though, but they're freed by the scientists from the think tanks from the think tank who found them. Now, the scientists are collecting survivors for a reason. They've all been mildly exposed to the comet's radiation. And even though they haven't turned yet, they're in a slow process of turning. They have found a way to stave off the transformation, but it requires them collecting survivors. They've already collected a handful of people just before they leave to go get Regina and Sam and Hector. They bring in 2 little kids, a little boy and a little girl, and then we follow them. Now, you'll notice there's the one female doctor that I talked about. I recognized the actress before. She's arguing with everybody else because she doesn't think what they're doing is correct. It's not right. She keeps saying it's not right. It's not right. It's not right. But you're kind of wondering, is it not right scientific procedure wise, or is it not right morally wise? You're not sure. The doctor she's arguing with, I think he was also in like Tango and Cash. Maybe he tends to play cops and dads a lot, but I cannot remember his character's name, so I can't give you the actor's name. But again, you'll look at him and you'll go, "Oh yeah, I know who that guy is." So she goes with another doctor to go collect Sam, Regina, and Hector. Well, they find them, they save them. Sam's got this, she has a skin condition that she gets when she gets nervous and stressed out. And of course, the end of the world is going to make you nervous and stressed out. So female doctor gets this beautiful plan in her head. They send Reggie off with the rest of the scientists. Female doctor and her male colleagues stay behind. Male doctors are like, well, I can tell with that rash she's turning, so we should just kill her. Female doctor's like, oh yeah, I guess I don't even need to see her blood test. Well, she's actually lying. What she does is she heavily sedates Sam, kills the doctor, takes Sam to the radio station to wait for Hector. Wrote everything out because part of the transformation is you start having memory loss and loss of cognitive movement or cognitive thought and motor skills. Your movement is kind of impaired. Hector shows up. She's like, I wrote everything down for you on there. She starts making weird comments and she kills herself by lethal injection because of the exposure. She knows she's dying. Turns out Regina's at the facility now, and she figures out that they are harvesting the blood from the survivors. They have rendered them effectively brain dead, and they're just using them as blood bags to stave off the transformation so that they can find a cure. I don't think you're going to find a cure for this, guys. There's a bunch of firefight. Hector and Sam come to the rescue. They rescue the children, the 2 kids, the boy and the girl. They blow up the facility. Oh, that is a great pyro moment. Yeah, I like me some pyro, and that was just like. So we get to, they're the last 5 people on Earth, and Hector and Regina have kind of taken on parental roles for these 2 kids. I think their names are Mark and Sarah, if I remember correctly. And then Sam's kind of feeling left out. She starts getting all, I don't want to say antsy. I won't say verbally combative with her sister when her sister's like, wait for the light, don't cross the street, against the light. She's like, we are the only people here. She goes to cross the street, and believe it or not, they're not the only people here. It's a luxury car goes streaking down the street, almost takes her out, turns around, and he's like, oh my God, survivors! It's a boy about Sam's age. Turns out his name is Danny Mason Keener. His license plate says DMK. So we start and open with the initials DMK. It's a good little movie. It's definitely not a gore fest. It could have been done as a gore fest if they wanted it to. There were some really cool dream sequences where we had some skins ripped off. Like I said, it was one of the first films to get a PG-13 rating. If you like kind of light horror, again, if you have teenagers that you want to get into horror or sci-fi, this is a good one. This is a really, really good one. I just had a brain freeze. I am so sorry. The story's pretty solid. It's a showcase of 80s cheese. So, you know how I said Waxwork was like really bad government cheese and Waxwork 2 was a good cheddar. This is a nice smoked Gouda level of cheese. You've got to have a taste for it, but if you do, you'll like it. Catherine Mary Stewart does a lot of the cons, and she's a wonderful person. In every interview I've seen her in, she's very proud of her work. I would definitely say put this on your watch list. This could be watched as a Christmas movie since it takes place over Christmas. And it's also kind of a call out to, I don't want to say consumerism, but it's like, you know, teenagers and what would they do if the world ended. It's a nice little adventure piece, I guess I want to call it. So all in all, this is a good movie. It's not a huge gore fest, but it's great I'll say it's a good appetizer for getting into the season. So I probably should have reviewed this earlier, but I actually forgot I had it. And then I saw it in the list. I'm like, ooh, I should do this one. It's kind of a time capsule movie, which I love those. Where you can it's like there it is. It's a slice of 1985 or a slice of 1962 or whatever. Because it was a current piece at the time it came out, but it's just such a time capsule of clothing, music, trends, and all that kind of stuff. So take a minute, see if you can find it. Enjoy it. Let me know if you do enjoy it. And then I'm going to say thank you again for bearing with me on this, because I'm not going to lie, the allergies this season have been bad. My eyes are constantly watering, my skin is itchy, and I'm surprised I can actually speak to you right now. So if my voice gets really scruffy, or I sound really plugged up, or my eyes just start streaming, or I'm like, itching, just know it's because of allergies, and I'm really trying to work through them for you guys, because I want to finish this. I really don't want to give up. I'm in, halfway point. It has just passed us. And I really want to keep this going. I'm having fun. I'm having fun interacting with the few people who have given me comments. Don't be afraid to leave some constructive criticism. I know I fidget a lot. Like I said, I know with the allergies, I'm constantly moving and itching and all that. I would like to get better. I would like to know what's going to help you guys enjoy these a little more. Just please don't be mean. I know the majority of people aren't, but if you're going to troll me, just take your energy elsewhere, because I ain't even going to bother listening to you. Delete, ban, you're done. I don't do that. I'm not that person. I'm not going to waste my time ripping someone to shreds on the internet behind the anonymity of a keyboard, and I hope you don't, my viewers don't either. So, on that note, again, thank you so much for being here with me. What are we on, day 17, 18 now? If I upload this one, I think I'm going to. So, good night, my creeplings, and I'll see you next time.